And so welcome back to another one, you guys. If you are new to the channel, my name is Andrew with Younger Nissan in Frederick, Maryland. For more information on our inventory, please feel free to check out the link in the description box below. So today we're in the brand new 2026 Nissan Rogue because this is Nissan's #1 seller, at least here in the US. You also get 2 years or 24,000 miles of complimentary maintenance, so you gotta love that. And believe it or not, the Rogue is less expensive for the 2026 model year, which is pretty exciting. So ultimately in this video, we will be testing out and going over everything about this one. So having said that, what do you guys say? Let's just go ahead and jump right into it. And as always, let's start with pricing. So as you can imagine, there are several different trim levels for the 2026 Rogue. First one being the S, starting at $28,790, which by the way is $440 less than the 2025 model year, but it gets better. SV for $29,790. You got the Rock Creek all-wheel drive for $33,690. And by the way, that Rock Creek, that's $1,730 less than the 2025 Rogue Rock Creek, believe it or not. So that's really impressive. And then you got the Platinum all-wheel drive for $38,990. And by the way, if you noticed, there's no more SL trim for the 2026 Nissan Rogue. So anyways, those first two trim levels come standard with front-wheel drive. If you wanted to add all-wheel drive, you can do that. Simply add $1,400 then to either of those prices. But regardless of the trim level that you go with, the power plant on the Rogue is going to be the same. Powering the beast is a 1.5 liter turbocharged 3-cylinder that puts out 201 horsepower at 5,600 RPM, 225 pound-feet of torque coming in at 2,800 RPM. That power being sent to the front wheels or all wheels through a CVT with paddle shifters, which of course you guys know we will be testing out here in a little bit. 0 to 60 time, approximately 8.1 seconds, with MPGs varying kind of substantially between the setups here. 29 in the city, 36 on the highway for the front wheel drive, 27 city, 32 then on the highway for the Rock Creek all-wheel drive, then 28 city, 35 on the highway for the Platinum all-wheel drive, but either way taking regular unleaded fuel. But said that before we do any kind of fun acceleration or paddle shifter test here in the Rogue, I did want to mention to you guys the drive modes. There's a circular dial located kind of just behind the shifter here. Plenty of drive modes on the Rogue, and they will include off-road, snow, auto, eco, and sport, adjusting things like the shift points, the throttle responses, steering sensitivity, and actually the all-wheel drive system engagement then as well. So now having got all of that out of the way, what do you guys say? Let's go ahead and find it straight away. Let's put the paddle shifters and acceleration here to the test. I want to see how quickly the paddle shifters are going to react for us here, and of course let's see how quickly we can get this one here up to speed. All right, found our straightaway here in 3, 2, 1, go. Delay. There it is. Not the quickest thing in the world, but that's okay. That's pretty much what I expected for the Rogue, just like the Mitsubishi Outlander. It's not the quickest, however, it is quicker than the Mitsubishi Outlander, I will say that, because they are kind of like brother and sister cars, however you want to interpret that. But it's plenty quick, but there is definitely a substantial delay when you initially hit the gas, and that would make sense. This is a turbocharged engine after all. I don't know if it's turbo lag or the throttle mapping, but definitely a delay there, so just keep that in mind. It is something that of course you probably will get used to, so it's not going to be an issue down the line after you get used to it, but just know it's there. But anyways, to go along with that acceleration, as always, braking is equally important. So up front you will find 11.7-inch ventilated front discs. In the back, 11.5-inch ventilated rear discs. As far as that 60-0 stopping distance goes, that comes in at 114 feet, which is a sports in a number. Love that number. As far as braking feel goes, it's perfect. It's not a super firm braking feel, but it's not a soft braking feel either, like you often find in SUVs. It's just right where the Rogue should be, quite honestly. But then touching on suspension and handling, up front you're going to get an independent strut type front suspension. In the back, independent multi-link rear suspension, front and rear stabilizer bars. As far as ride quality goes, in our short little test drive here today, it's actually been perfectly fine. Like, I'm impressed with the ride quality. It's definitely absorbing the road imperfections quite nicely, so I don't have any issues there. As far as steering feel goes, it definitely leans on the heavier side of things, so that's something I definitely like. I like the steering feel in the Rogue here. It's not like a loosey-goosey steering feel like you quite often do find on SUVs, and I'm a big fan of it. No issues there. As far as cabin noise goes, we're going 47 miles per hour. I'll shut up for a second. It's not bad. It's definitely something I could live with, so don't have any issues there either. And taking a look at rear visibility, I can see perfectly fine out the back. So looking at my rear view mirror here, I don't have any issues there either. But if you wanted better forward visibility, you are gonna have to go with the Platinum trim level. That's gonna give you rain sensing windshield wipers, so they're gonna automatically turn on for you whenever this thing detects that it kind of missed a rainfall. And the other thing is the Platinum's also gonna give you a head-up display, so that's gonna help with forward visibility yet again, but that's gonna project your speed limit, and safety features up onto your windshield, again, assisting with forward visibility. But that pretty much rounds out the performance segment of this review, you guys. Let's now go ahead and take a look at the exterior of our brand new 2026 Nissan Rogue. All right, so here she is, you guys, the new 2026 Nissan Rogue, finished in deep ocean blue, in case you were curious of our exact exterior color name that we have with us here on this one. But as always, let's go ahead and start with where this one is made, because this is kind of interesting. So last year, this one was actually built and assembled in Japan. This year, the VIN starts with the number 5, so this one is now actually built and assembled here in the US for the 2026 model year. So a little fun fact for you to start out there. Up front, you will get LED headlights with LED daytime running lights. You get the automatic feature with those. You also get automatic high beams. So if you have your high beams on at night and it senses the vehicle coming in the opposite direction, it's going to automatically dim them back to low beams. And when that vehicle is gone, it's going to automatically bounce it back up to high beams for you there. Bottom corners there, I'm going to get up a little bit closer because these are massive, but front air curtains helping direct air around the wheel and tire combination, and they are some massive front air curtains, so that's pretty cool looking. Also, of course, in typical Nissan fashion, you got that V-motion front grille, front and center, but that pretty much rounds out the front end of this one. Let's now go ahead and swing around to the side. All right, so now since we are around to the side of the Rogue, if you wanted roof rails up top, go with the Rock Creek or the Platinum. Our SV trim level is not going to get them, unfortunately. Chrome up or window trim does come standard for all trim levels. Rear privacy glass also standard for all trims. Body colored power adjustable side mirrors coming standard. They will actually be heated for the SV trim level and up. Also, you're going to get some added chrome trim on the Platinum trim level on the side skirts there. I'm not going to be able to show that to you, unfortunately. But then taking a look down at the wheel setup, they are going to differ dependent upon the trim level that you go with. So for the S trim level, you're going to get 17-inch aluminum alloys. You're going to get 17-inch kind of unique aluminum alloys for the Rock Creek trim level with all-terrain tires as well. 18-inch aluminum alloys for our SV trim level, and then 19-inch aluminum alloys for the Platinum. But that pretty much rounds out the side profile. Let's now go ahead and swing around to the back. All right, so but now since we are around to the back of this one, all the way to the top, body colored shark fin antenna. Just below that, rear spoiler with an integrated brake light. Just below that, rear window wiper. Do have LED taillights coming standard for all trim levels across the board. That's pretty cool. Got the Rogue lettering spelled out horizontally. That looks good as well. And then just below it all, you will find a single exhaust outlet. It is tucked away underneath there. So having said that, I do believe you guys know what we have to do next here. As always, here is that exhaust clip. Alright, so now since we are around to the back of the Rogue here, when it comes to opening that rear lift gate, a hands-free power lift gate does come standard on the SL and Platinum. It is available on our SV trim level that we have with us here today. Pretty darn convenient. There is a button on the key fob. There's a rubberized button, of course, on the lift gate itself then as well. But once opened up, cargo capacity behind that second row comes in at 36.5 cubic feet. If that was not enough space, of course, the rear seats do fold down. There is a 60-40 split that bumps that up to an even 72 cubic feet. That's pretty darn impressive. There's cargo lighting back there. There's 12-volt power outlet, chrome-plated tie-down anchors. There's kind of indented storage in the back corners there. And then if you were to lift up underneath of that cargo floor, you will find a spare tire, which I always love to see. But then making our way up to the rear legroom, that comes in at 38.5 inches. For reference, I'm an even 6 feet tall. This is how much space I had in the back seats there. Rear ventilation does come standard. Dual rear USB charging ports also coming standard. Rear center armrest with cup holders as well. And then if you were to go with that Platinum trim level, you're also going to get heated rear seats to spoil the rear passengers a little bit there. But then making our way up to the front seats, manually adjustable cloth seats for the S trim level. Going to find an 8-way power driver seat with 2-way power lumbar for the SV trim level and up. Heated front seats for the Rock Creek and Platinum trim trims. Memory settings for the Platinum is going to be optional on the Rock Creek. Cloth seating for the S and SV trim levels, and then you're going to get a cloth leatherette combo for the Rock Creek, and then semi-aniline seats for the Platinum. But overall, as far as seat comfort goes, it's nothing crazy. It's fine. It's pretty average for the segment, so I didn't have any issues with seat comfort. Not the most comfortable, but certainly not the worst either. But then taking a look at the steering wheel, it is tilt and telescoping. It is going to be leatherette wrapped for the SV trim level and up, so we got that. Kind of a flat bottom to it too, which is kind of cool. And then a heated steering wheel is going to come standard on the Platinum. It's going to be optional on the SV and Rock Creek trim levels. But now let's go ahead and make our way to the startup. Let me start by showing you guys the key here. You got your Nissan logo all the way to the top. Lock, unlock the button to pop the rear liftgate there, and then the circular button at the top there, that's going to be your remote start that comes on the SV trim level and up, so I get to show that to you guys. Hooray. But ultimately, it is all keyless entry with the push button start. So all I'm going to do here is simply put my foot on the brake and press that gloss black engine start button located just in front of the shifter there. And so once started up, when it comes to the gauges, you will get analog gauges with a center digital screen for all trim levels, but the Platinum. Platinum is going to give you a full 12.3-inch digital gauge cluster. But honestly, this is plenty fine for me. Got your tachometer on your left, speedometers on your right. There are some steering wheel mounted controls found on the left side of the steering wheel to go ahead and adjust what is displayed up on the center portion of the gauges there. You have things like a digital speedometer, outside temperature, how many miles you have left until you hit empty. I think the only thing that I would change is to make them a little less boring and maybe change up the color of the gauges maybe instead of just the black and the white theme, which literally I feel like every single car is coming out with these days. So kind of boring gauges compared to what they used to be, but it's okay. Now let's go ahead and make our way to overall interior quality. Overhead sunglass holder is going to come standard on the Rogue there. Overhead lighting looks like it is straight from the 80s. Gotta love that. Dual pane panoramic moonroof for the Platinum. It's going to be optional on the SV. We don't have that one, unfortunately. Dual zone climate control for the SV trim level and up, so both driver and passenger can set their own individual temperatures. Tri-zone climate control coming with the Platinum trim level. Also with the Platinum, you're going to get a wireless phone charger. But I think what I liked best on the interior of the Rogue here is all the hidden storage found underneath of the shifter. So if you're a girl and you have a purse, that is probably where you're going to want to put it because it is kind of concealed underneath of there. So I just thought that was a lot of really kind of hidden storage, so that was pretty cool. But just in front of the shifter, you have a place to put your cell phone. You have a couple USB charging ports, 12-volt power outlet. To the right of the shifter, you got your cup holders. Everything surrounding the cup holders is finished in a nice gloss black texturized kind of finish, so it does have a nice feel to it. It's not just a boring finish, so I like that. Then within the center armrest, there's a decent amount of space in there actually, so don't have any issues with that. But overall, everything kind of is a little bit on the basic side of things. Even the silver finish just above the passenger side glove box, it's got like a gray plastic, but it gets the job done. Nothing that would bother me, but nothing that's really going to impress me either. But now let's go ahead and make our way to the infotainment screen though. 8-inch color touchscreen display for the S, SV, and Rock Creek trim levels. 12.3-inch color touchscreen display for the Platinum trim level then. Bluetooth and audio streaming coming standard either way, but also standard wireless. Android Auto, Apple CarPlay, so that's pretty stinking cool. There's a little bit of a delay to the touchscreen though. I noticed that, a little bit laggy, but again, it still gets the job done. It's just a little bit of delay to it. You can also, of course, check out your radio information up there. So when it comes to the sound systems, there's actually 3 of them. So you get 4 speakers with the S, 6 speakers with the SV and Rock Creek trims, and then a 10-speaker Bose sound system for the Platinum. So having said that, we got the 6-speaker sound system with us here today. So let's go ahead and turn on the radio. Let's see what we got playing this morning, and let's test out the clarity of this one. It's actually not bad for a 6-speaker sound system. In typical Nissan fashion, there's always plenty of bass with their sound systems, no matter which one you're looking at. So that was actually not bad, again, for it being a 6-speaker sound system. But anyways, last thing I wanted to mention to you guys on the infotainment screen is when you do put the Rogue in reverse, you will find a rear view camera coming standard across the board. If you wanted a surround view monitor, go with the Rock Creek or Platinum trim levels. That's how you're going to go ahead and get that. But ultimately, that is going to lead us into safety. So let me start with the best part. The Rogue is an IIHS Top Safety Pick Plus, which is the very highest rating given by IIHS. So it's a wonderful start right there. there. Front side curtain airbags do come standard. Driver and passenger knee airbags up front as well. In the back, you got latch, aka lower anchors and tethers for children for the rear car seats. Rear child door locks, tire pressure monitoring system, but also coming standard. Forward collision warning, autonomous emergency braking with pedestrian detection. Lane departure warning, a blind spot monitoring system with rear cross traffic alert. Rear parking sensors, reverse automatic braking, and a driver attention monitoring system then as well. Then if you were to go with the SV trim level and up, you also get adaptive cruise control. So overall, when it comes to my final thoughts here of the Rogue, I do love the excellent safety. That's always the first thing you got to look for in a vehicle, especially if you got kids in the back. You can't get better than an IIHS Top Safety Pick Plus, so wonderful start there. Great MPGs as well. It's because, of course, this is a turbocharged 3-cylinder. You get up to 36 miles per gallon in an SUV of this size. That's plenty respectable. And even in an all-wheel drive version of this, you can get 35 miles per gallon on the highway. And so, but that is about it for this one, you guys. Thank you so much for watching. Feel free to follow Younger Nissan on social media stuff somewhere on the screen there. Be sure to hit the subscribe and the bell notification button if you're into new car reviews and all of our fun YouTube shorts we put on our channel here as well. We do appreciate you guys watching more than you know, and we will see you guys all in the next video. Bye.